Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a fun show for you. This is going to be pretty interesting and spicy. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty spicy video. We've got a Bama YouTuber out there, and he is talking smack about our Vols. And I think he's ready for that game in Tuscaloosa. And when you hear what he's got to say, now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, for you Vols fans, if you are someone that is easily triggered and this in smack talk really upsets you, now is your time to just walk away from this video.
Just walk away.
That's right. Humongous knows. Just walk away, because this is going to raise your blood pressure and get you all tore up. And I don't need that on my conscience. So if, like I said, if you're easily triggered, just scoot on. For the rest of you, we're going to get into this. Now, before we get started, this is actually a YouTuber that I subscribe to, and I watch his videos. Now, there's probably 8 or 10 YouTube channels that I really like. I don't watch much TV. YouTube's kind of the place to go. And you know, you've got 3 types of YouTubers. Okay, you've got your when it comes to sports, you've got your national sports guys. Okay, they're kind of the big dogs. They work for some big company, whether it's ESPN or maybe it's Josh Pate with Late Kick and all that, and they got some big money behind them, and they cover national, pretty much every college and all that good stuff. Then you've got the other tier, which is your local professional sports guys. Okay, for us, that would be like VolQuest, On3, stuff like that, and they do a real good job as well. Now, they're not going to get into this spicy stuff. Okay, they don't talk a bunch of smack and do all that kind of stuff. And then you've got the third tier, which is where I live. Okay, us amateur YouTubers, we get a microphone, we get a camera, and we're regular guys who just love our team, and we love talking SEC football or whatever conference you're from. And we talk a lot of smack, and we have a good time. That's where this fella falls into. He's a lot like what I do. He gets in front of a microphone, and he loves his Bama. Okay, this guy, he calls them, what is it? He calls them my Alabama Crimson Tides.
My Alabama Crimson Tide.
So I'll give you a pretty good hint who this guy is. And that's sort of one of his catchphrases. But anyway, I guess he decided he needed to have some fun with the Vols. Now, look, I think they're still a little bit salty about that game last year, and it's still upsetting them. I know it upset Saban, and they're used to being on top. And right now, look, Georgia's kind of on top right now. There's really no denying it. And that gets them upset. And then us beating them like we did, that's even got them more upset. So they're starting to see a chink in the armor, to the point to where, like I said, they're getting really salty. So let's see what he's got to say. And you're not going to like it. But again, it's fun to look at this kind of stuff.
Once again, to talk about your October champions, the Tennessee Volunteers, okay? They having issues on Rocket Top about a couple of games, about what time they are being played. They want these games switched. They talking about, you know, somehow they'll have the advantage if these games were switched. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. He say under Josh Heupel, he done made it clear that Tennessee can't control the schedule or what time the game's played. Josh Heupel gonna have the team ready anyway. But yet, they crying, okay? They are crying. They want the advantage in games, okay? They say there's some obvious advantages to games being played at certain time. They bring up this game. It would be better for Tennessee, for example, to play Georgia in Knoxville this season at night, which should mean a more electric crowd in Neyland Stadium, meaning they will have the advantage, okay? It don't matter. It don't matter. Tennessee gonna get beat anyway in Neyland Stadium. Just like when they bring to Bryant-Denny Stadium, Tennessee gonna get the beat anyway. I don't give a damn if it's at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4:30, 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Tennessee getting their ass tore off in Bryant-Denny Stadium. You can believe that.
Okay, folks. I think we just got served.
Okay. All right. We got served. So now, I guess, it's on.
I don't think there's any question. We just got served. Oh, yeah. And you know what happens when you get served? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's on. All right. Now look, times do matter, actually. Now, he'll bring up later in the account, he'll talk about us playing Virginia at 12 o'clock. I don't care what time we play Virginia. We're going to beat Virginia. I'm not concerned about that. It's in Nashville, which is a home game. We'll be just fine there. 11 o'clock Central, whatever. Would I prefer 7 o'clock for the Virginia game? For me personally, yes, because I got to work on Saturdays. Yeah, I would prefer 7 o'clock just because it's easier for me to watch it, obviously. It's going to be tough at 11 or 12, actually. Now, the other game, like Florida at 7, I'd much rather play that at noon. That is true. That does make a difference. And if you don't think it makes a difference the time, look what we did to LSU at 12. Because, look, I know Louisiana real well. It's actually a really fun state. And the people down there, they're party people, okay? They love to party. They have parties over hurricanes. They call them hurricane parties. Any reason to have a good time. And so let me tell you something about 11 a.m. Central Time in Louisiana. That is not a good time for them, okay? Now, they were fired up, but nothing compared to what they would have been at 7 o'clock. And we went down there and whooped them bad at Death Valley, which you don't do that to LSU. So I think that played a role. Now, if we play Georgia, obviously, I'd want to play at 7 o'clock. Plus, you get the fireworks, you get all the fun stuff, and I get to watch the entire game without having to miss work and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I would prefer that. But the 12 o'clock in the first game, I don't care. And Alabama, yeah, I'd prefer an earlier game, but you know what? Tuscaloosa is going to be tough no matter what. So 7 o'clock again works for me. But anyway, it's better to play at noon if you're away. It just is. The crowd's not as into it as they are at 7 o'clock because they haven't had a chance to get fortified.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
No. Oh, no, sir.
Oh, no.
No.
That's right. A little bit of Grandpa's cough medicine gets in him and then woohoo! But anyway, let's let him continue.
The games that they referring to is the first game against Virginia and the third game on September the 18th against Florida, okay? They play Virginia at 11 o'clock, September the 2nd in Nashville, okay? Maybe 12 noon, 11 o'clock or 12 noon, one of them. But they play in Nashville, which should give them the advantage anyway. They playing in their own backyard, all right? And then, third game, September the 18th, they go to Gainesville to the Swamp and play Florida, all right? They seem to want those two game times switched. They want to play Virginia in Nashville at 7, okay, because they feel like they will have a more electrifying crowd than they will at 11 o'clock or 12 noon, 11 a.m. or 12 noon, okay? They want to switch the game to from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the Swamp, right? Because they feel like Florida won't have an electrifying crowd at 11 a.m. or 12 noon. Okay, you want to switch the game to your advantage in Nashville and want to switch the game to Florida's disadvantage in Gainesville. You can't have it both ways, man. You just can't have it both ways. And I'm going to tell you, Tennessee, no matter what you play at or what time you play, you are known for losing. Whether it's at 11 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in Neyland Stadium, you are known for losing.
All right, now what's happening right here, all right, for us Vols fans, let me tell you what he's doing, okay? And he's doing a pretty good job of it, honestly. This is what's called baiting the fans, okay? Basically, it looks like this.
I got you $1.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
That's right. He's just dangling that bait in front of you and pulling it away and messing with you. It's the old baiting the fans. Look, am I going to give him a bunch of grief about it? No, because I've done that to plenty of teams, especially, gosh, I've featured this guy a bunch. So I've done this type of thing a lot. So I don't want to be a gigantic hypocrite and give him a bunch of grief, but that's what he's doing. Okay, just understand he's got a lure and a string, and he's playing with us. Okay, that's what he's doing. He's doing a good job, but look, he's having some fun. And actually, I've actually communicated with this guy a couple of times, and he doesn't care for the smack talk. Doesn't bother him coming from both sides. He doesn't mind being featured. He's got a good sense of humor about it, and he's pretty cool about it. But anyway, that's what he's doing. He's having some fun with us. But it's pretty effective because I'm looking forward to this game right now. I was going into it going, man, it's Tuscaloosa. It's going to be tough. They're going to have vengeance in their hearts for us. But, yeah, the way he's going right now, I'm ready to go. Let's get this game going. But let's let him continue.
You protected your home field, okay? You beat my Alabama Crimson Tide at home for the first time in 16 seasons by a measly 3 points, okay? Granted, congratulations, October champions. But what did you do after that? You didn't win the East. You didn't go to the SEC championship. You didn't go to the playoff. Granted, my team, my Alabama Crimson Tide didn't win the West, didn't go to SEC championship game, none of that. But more often than not, we do that. Y'all never do it. Never. So congratulations on being the October champion. And just like you Tennessee fans like to say, or other fan bases, that Alabama could have easily lost 4 or 5 games last season. Okay? Tennessee could have too. See what this season brings. I guarantee you won't win 10 games this season. You definitely won't win 11. I can guarantee you that. But anyway, and just to bring my point home, you know what I'm saying? I looked it up. Tennessee and Neyland Stadium. Do y'all know, matter of fact, we ain't gonna talk about Neyland Stadium yet. Tennessee ain't won in Gainesville in the Swamp since 2003. Did y'all know that? That's why they want the time switched to 11 o'clock.
Now he's talking about Florida taking advantage of us. Now you know you're being fan baited. And of course, the Florida Gators, you know how I am about them. We need to beat them at the Swamp. That's my triggering effect right there. You start putting the Florida Gators on me. Oh. And especially, here's the great thing about playing them at 7 o'clock. If we do go down there and whoop up on them and win that game, which that would be so sweet, there'd be zero excuses for them. They'd have nothing whatsoever. We beat them last year, and we beat them at the Swamp at 7 o'clock in front of their sold-out, insane crowd. And believe me, they're going to have every crazy person known to man, and they will be very fortified.
Where did you get the liquor? Where did you get the liquor?
At 7 o'clock for us, and it'll be their first SEC game. They'll probably lose to Utah. We'll see. I'm concerned about their quarterback room, and I've told you that. Their quarterback room is very average, and that's not a good sign going in the SEC. But, man, it has been a long time since we beat them at the Swamp, and we need to. So, anyway, see, now that got to me a little bit. The other stuff, not so much. But that right there, yeah, that stokes the fires. But let's let him finish up.
They think it's going to give them an advantage. They ain't won since 2003. Granted, I feel like y'all have beat Florida in the Swamp this year. Okay, I feel that way. But if you don't, it won't come as no surprise. It'll just be the norm. That's what it'll be. And guess what? You ain't beat Alabama and Bryant-Denny since 2006. So that's 20 years for Florida in the Swamp, and 17 years for my Alabama Crimson Tide and Bryant-Denny. I mean, you know how it is. But if you lose to both of them, it's the norm. You lose to them on the road every time you play them anyway. It shouldn't be nothing unusual. It shouldn't upset y'all if it happened to happen.
Now, look, if you're an Alabama fan, the last couple of years have been kind of rough on you. You're used to being on top. And unfortunately for them, Georgia has kind of knocked them out of their chair and taken their crown and put it square on their head and knocked them down the hill. And they're not happy about it, okay? They're living in the past. That's really what's happening here. They're enjoying the past. Their coach lost 2 games last year, and he's fired his offensive and defensive coordinator. So that's how upset they are down there. That's why they're so salty. They are not used to being second fiddle. And that's what they are right now. And I wish we were Georgia right now because, oh boy, would I be able to respond to this, but it's hard to do that when you usually have not won. But that's what upsets Alabama the most, is that Georgia has basically taken over their crown. And, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, firing their offensive and defensive coordinator, and their quarterback room is a mess right now. We'll see. They got the backup quarterback, Tyler Buckner, out of Notre Dame is what they've had to do. And he'll probably start because, Tommy Reese, the little youngster that's their offense coordinator, he's comfortable with him, and he doesn't really appear to want to work with the Alabama quarterbacks they got down there. So he'll probably just insert him, and you're going to have a lot of favoritism on that situation. Now, look, Buckner's actually pretty talented, but he's very loose with the football. And I'm going to tell you right now, Nick Saban will not tolerate turnovers. He just won't. He does not tolerate that kind of crap. So Buckner might start and play a few games and then get taken out for either Ty Simpson or is it Jalen Milroe? Man, that guy can run. Now, his arm's not that great, but man, he can run. And Ty Simpson was a big-time recruit out of Tennessee. And we missed out on him for obvious reasons. We were going through coaching nightmare. But anyway, that's really what it is. Alabama's living in the past, and we'll see how they do. Look, at some point, Saban's going to have to retire. And I've already told you that what I want to have happen, first of all, I do not want Lane Kiffin at Alabama. I want Kiffin at Florida. So that would be best for me because that gives me Steve Spurrier 2.0. And I've told you folks, we don't have a really, really good villain anymore. We just don't. Napier, he's just too nice a guy. And Saban, even though he cries, the guy's won 7 natties, and he cries and complains over every little thing when he loses. Oh, we've got to change the rules because the Vols are taking advantage and they're going too fast. And, oh, change the rules for us because we lost a game. And then on top of it, he got mad over the schedule. And instead of wanting to go to 9, he went to 8 on his vote, which is, look, I'm fine with that. There's no point in making our schedule tougher and not getting any money from ESPN. And these other conferences that are screaming, oh, make them play 9, they just want us to beat each other up because they're so weak. They know when they get in the playoffs, they're going to get their rear end handed to them, okay, like they always do. So I don't listen to that. But on the schedule thing, he's mad because he has to play Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn, and he knows that's going to be his 3 permanent opponents if they go to 9 games. Now, this is the guy that won 7 natties. And you know what he doesn't have to do? He has not had to play Georgia in the regular season since 1912, okay, which is right now the best team in the SEC. They're number 2. Alabama's number 2. It might be Tennessee's number 2 right now until we beat Georgia. But Alabama's, they're number 2 in the SEC and have been for a couple of years now. But anyway, yeah, he's crying about the schedule. He doesn't want to do that. So like I said, they're living in the past. He's going to retire at some point. I do not want Kiffin at Alabama. That would not be fun because I don't dislike Alabama near as much as I do Florida, and it wouldn't be near as good a villain. Plus, he'd probably be too good at Alabama. At Florida, it'd be more of an even match for us. And, of course, we've got Josh Heupel, which is a huge advantage for us in any game. I just think that would be a great matchup. Kiffin at Florida against Heupel at Tennessee. That is epic. And Kiffin would do this. He would be running his jaw on Twitter, giving us grief. You can't spell citrus without a unity. It would literally be Steve Spurrier 2.0. And he would become Darth Kiffin with the Empire, without question.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Anyway, at some point, look, Saban can't coach forever. He's 73, 74, 84 years old. I mean, he's almost, I think he's 100. He needs to retire. Look, he's got all those Mercedes-Benz dealerships and he's got his commercials. Affleck! And just do that and then get themselves a regular coach and go back to winning 8, 9, 10 games for about 10 or 20 years. Kiffin can go to Florida and challenge us, and it can become Florida, Tennessee again, which is the way it should be. And we can watch Alabama and Georgia just start going down because I want it back to where it's Florida and Tennessee. Let's check in on him one more time.
You're not back. You're not back. Y'all up in arms with Josh Heupel like he's such a great coach. Guess what? You had 2 great seasons under Bush Jones. And then what happened? Matter of fact, what happened Bush Jones second year? He won 9 games. Hey, I think your second and the third year you won 9 games, but then it just fell apart. It's going to do the same with Josh Heupel.
Oh, well, there's strikes 2 and 3 right there.
Okay, let's get off of that. But Tennessee, in Neyland Stadium, at home. Did y'all know in the 5 seasons leading up to their spectacular 2022 season, the mighty Tennessee Vols lost 18 home games. 18 home games.
Josh Heupel didn't lose 18 home games. Again, living in the past. There'll be no more of this losing at home over and over and over. We'll lose a few. I mean, you're always going to lose a few at some point, but it's going to be nothing like it used to be. Not with Heupel. And comparing him to Butch Jones, give me a break. That's rich.
Tennessee, hey, best of luck. That's all I can tell you. Best of luck. Because if your season look like any of these 5 seasons I just mentioned, oh my goodness. Y'all back though. Y'all back. Y'all can always claim we are the 2022 October champions. Roll Tide, man.
All right. If that didn't get you rolling and you're not ready to play Alabama, then your wood's wet. Let's get this thing going. Let's do it.
All right, Lunger. Let's do it.
I'm ready. I am ready for that Alabama game. This has got me fired up, and I enjoy the smack talk. It's fun. He did a pretty good job. Like I said, he's baiting us a little bit, but, pretty good smack talk. Anyway, that gets us fired up for the game. And look, that's one of the things I like about YouTube. I like that back and forth. Anyway, I just thought it'd be fun to cover this and let you hear that stuff. Very salty. He's very salty. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like. Well, you may not like some of this content. But anyway, if you do, hit that subscribe button. It's on your right and on my left. And my most recent video is right over here. YouTube thinks you'll love it. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.